Welcome to episode 2 of the transformation series, and today it's all about the small little dietary swaps you can make that add up to a big difference. The mistake a lot of people make is that they try and majorly overhaul their nutrition from day one, and by our very nature, guys, we hate change. Making things too drastic is always a recipe for disaster. You're just not going to stick to it. So what I want to do today, guys, is look at some small tweaks you can make that add up to a surprisingly large change in calorie intake. So, first things, drinks. Switch to black coffee with a sweetener. Again, instantly you reduce the calorie intake of, let's be fair, a drink that a few of us have quite a lot of through the day. I drink at least 2 coffees a day. By switching to black coffee, that total intake comes about 2 calories. Okay, so coffee is always a good one, especially if you go for the Costa as well. You can save yourself some money and save yourself a lot of calories. On the drink front as well, switching from full fat fizzy drinks to zero versions is going to save you in the region of 130 calories a drink. If you have 2 of those a day, that's 260 calories saved by just switching that out. Now let's call it 250 for the ease of maths. Over the week, 7 days, that's 1,500 calories. That removal of calories is the same as very nearly half a pound. So right there, you're taking care of half a pound's worth of calorie deficit just by switching out some fizzy drinks. A very small change which is going to add up to quite a big difference. From a food point of view, things we can do: swap rice and noodles for things like cauliflower rice or courgette spaghetti, or you can even get those, I forget what they're called, they might be called boodles or something, quite high protein noodles that are really low in calories. Again, we're not drastically changing what you're doing, but we're changing how we go about creating something like a spaghetti bolognese or even a curry. The changing the consistency of the ingredients to reduce the calorie intake while still having the same meal. So you don't feel like you're missing out, but you've made a massive difference for the calorie intake. Again, what I personally tend to do is my snacks will become things like fruit, 0% Greek yogurt, because that and massively reduce the calorie intake of my snacks. And especially in the case of the Greek yogurt, I'm taking the protein intake higher. Helps manage my hunger, helps retain the muscle mass. So again, there's a few we can make as well. Simply, again, reduce the portion sizes. You know, there's a very, very easy way of knowing that you've eaten less calories. Eat what you normally eat, reduce the portion size. You've actively decreased the amount of food you are eating, it will add up. And as long as you're tracking and just sort of seeing how your body shape's changing, your tape measure measurements are changing, you know if that adjustment has worked. So again, there's a few little changes we can make. Swap out things, sauces. Go for lighter versions of mayonnaise, lighter versions of sweet chili sauces. You can now get the very, very low calorie dessert sauces and syrups. So things can still taste great. Again, you're just reducing the calorie intake. So you're looking at things that have a very, very small impact on your actual intake. You're probably eating very, very similar meals just by flipping out sauces, different types of rice, noodles, dropping your coffees. You're actively reducing the calorie intake for the minimum change to what you're actually eating. And long term, that's really going to add up to some great results, because you're not going to feel that resistance to change because you're barely changing anything. You're just being a bit smarter about what you use. So yeah, take home tip, guys. Make slightly smarter changes and swaps to overall over the week. If you did all of those things, that's going to add up to some serious reduction in calories without changing what you're actually eating. Maximum result, minimum change. Always the best way to go initially. When we need to get a bit more aggressive, we can do, but by that time, hopefully your results are going to be really moving along very nicely. You're going to be super motivated and they're not going to pinch quite as much. So there you go, guys. Small changes for big results. If you have any questions, guys, drop them in the comments below and I will see you tomorrow.